Hey you guys, hop on in. We'll get started in like 30 seconds. Hey, For the Babe. Hi, Noelle. Hey, Rita. Come on in, you guys. We're gonna flip this around in a moment here. Hi, Sarah. Hey, healthy Hexy Mama. Hi, Indiana. Hi, Orange County. Let me flip. Right on. Hi, you guys. All right, I'm going to set up Facebook Live for the essential oil community here. Let me see how this goes here. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. I have a basement office, Tracy. I'm down here when I need to do recordings. Keeps a little bit cleaner. I don't know about you guys, but I have one of those brains when I'm in my flow, things get really messy. Things get really messy before they get clean and organized and launched, right? So right now, I'm working on some stuff for our team, and so my upstairs office is a complete mess. Anyone else function that way in complete chaos? Hi, Colorado. Yes, I'm messy. I get messy to get into the weeds and birth something, right? Organized chaos is right. So, welcome everyone live. We've got Facebook Live up in the Essential Oil Community Group, and Periscope is where the majority of you are hanging out today. Welcome to my weekly scope, weekly Facebook Live. It's a Q&A that I lead on whatever topic you want to bring to the conversation today, whether it be around your health, natural health, essential oils, running your own business, being a mom. Those are the things that I can speak to because that's what I live, right? So I wanted to kick off, actually I should probably introduce myself. I know we have some brand new people here. So my name is Ange Peters. I'm the founder of WholeFit. I'm a holistic health and business coach, Presidential Diamond in doTERRA Essential Oils, and I only teach what I live. So something you'll know about me is there are a couple different kinds of experts you'll find in various fields, right? You'll find experts who they're very book smart, right? They've read everything, they've got the acronyms behind their name and the certifications, and they're an expert because of that. Then you will have role model experts, okay? So you are drawn to some people because you know they're an expert because of the way they live, right? And then the third type of expert you'll come across in any field is a results expert, right? So somebody who not only takes the book smarts and takes the lifestyle they're living, but they actually help others get results because of that. And I think that, you know, when you can join a community that has people in it like ours who are smart up here and live it as well, then you have found a good place to be, right? So I love our community. I love you guys for joining every week and challenging yourselves to learn more and to do more and to ultimately be living a life that is inspiring to those around you. That's the only type of change that we really can create. So welcome. Hey Keely, my sister. So I opened up the scope today to showing a post that got shared quite a bit this week that I had posted. It resonated with a lot of people, and I've been thinking a lot lately about what the next decade in healthcare predominantly, because that's, you know, I'm in the health field, and I was thinking about what we're seeing as what people are really drawn to these days. And I feel like we're moving out of this focus that we've had for a long time on this outward success, right? People looking the part. You know, when you think about physical fitness and in the health community, often a sign of a healthy person was a six-pack, right? Or somebody who was super lean and very disciplined, and you knew it because of how they looked, right? And I feel like we're really shifting. I don't know how many of you have thought about this in your own path. Maybe you've been in programs before that, you know, your goal was only to really look the part, right? It'll look good on the outside. And it led to a little bit of emptiness, right? It led to this feeling of, oh, so this is it? I have to live this restricted life, and this is health. And, you know, we're seeing this, as I've been presenting a lot through the last few years in natural health, women specifically are really dialed in these days to the fact that no one else can really tell you what health looks like for you, right? It doesn't look a certain way on the outside. It feels a certain way. It's confidence. It's knowing you have the tools to walk out a life that feels good to you and ultimately gets you on the path of listening to your own intuition. You have all the answers that you need to really walk out a healthy life, okay? You know inside you have an internal guide. Everything you've experienced in your life has led you to the point you're at now, and really it's about staying on a journey of surrounding yourself with people who support that in your life, right? If somebody in your life is feeling triggered by the way you live, that's a good thing, because often when you're on a path, you become a mirror for other people, right? And we're all on this growth journey. And so my intention through sharing that post was really to illustrate the direction I feel that the health community is headed in, towards people taking more of their health into their own hands and knowing that it doesn't look a certain way all the time. And ultimately it's about becoming your own advocate, your own guide, right? So anyway, the one other thing, it was actually on my Facebook, my personal Facebook. I actually shared it on, I think, WholeFit as well, my WholeFit my brand page. So one of the other things I want to share with you guys, next week I kick off my Ready, Set, Glow Detox, October 17th to the 23rd. This is the 5th year I've been running this cleanse. I run it 2 to 3 times a year. We have about 1,200 people in that cleanse. So you can find, good morning Laura, you can find all the information on that if you Google WholeFit Detox. I hope that some of you are joining us. Tap the screen if you're planning to cleanse with us next week. It's a very different kind of cleanse, okay? It's not just focusing on food, and it's not about deprivation. This is a lifestyle overhaul, okay? So this is a program designed to help you look, kind of peel back the layers in all aspects of your life to really look at, where have I maybe gotten out of balance? I mean, true health is having our physical and our spiritual and our emotional and even our financial health all in harmony together, right? And sometimes one area gets a little bit off track. So this week, the best part of it, to be honest, is the community. It's the encouragement, the accountability. It's having a group that you can really link arms with and say, all right, I'm going to start looking at some areas in my life that need a little more, that need a boost. They need to come back to a more natural approach with our foods, right? And with our relationships and all those little areas of our life that start to stress us out on a continual basis. But we're looking at that. And here's the number one thing you'll notice. When you clean up your intake of nutrition, when you're focused on a simple plan that incorporates whole foods and cleansing rituals, there are things that will start to surface emotionally that you can start to deal with more strength. Because often we find that we are distracted by the amount of food decisions and the way we feel because of our food. It distracts us. Yes, it is a vegetarian week, so you're eliminating some of the things that have a heavier cost in terms of digestion on the body, so that your body can move into more of a cleansed state just for this week. You can do anything for a week. I promise you that. For those that have done this year after year with me, the cleanse evolves a little bit as I continue to learn. So I don't recommend adding collagen to smoothies during cleanse week because that is an animal product. So yes, like Rita said, emotional breakthroughs happen when you start to lean out a lot of the distractions through our food and relationships and all these pieces that work together, right? So anyway, I just want to let you guys know that, and we've got a lot of people on the group right now that are joining in that, which I love. You have lifetime access to once you have joined, and I do teach you how to integrate essential oils and supplements as well. That's optional, but some people do that to boost their effect. All right, so let's go in. I'm going to start up a notebook. You don't see me on Facebook, so I'm in the WholeFit Essential Oil group on Facebook, if you look that up, okay? Streaming live. But just stay here, same info as we do over on Periscope. All right, so I'm going to just open up a notepad. Now, you do not need to buy the cleanse again. So once you're in, you're in. So really the best part about it is that you're in that community group, right? I think that more than anything, we are starved for connection today with people that get us, right? So anyway, let's go into today's questions. If you guys have any questions around natural health, essential oils, owning your own business, balancing it all as a mom, please fire away. If I read out your question, I have seen it. Looking for a good eyeshadow without junk? Just hop over to the environmental working group, to be honest, because then you can find brands that are clean that are in stores near you, okay? Are there specific doTERRA oils to avoid using entirely on newborns and babies? New spa products score on EWG. So guess what, you guys? I'm going to actually do a Facebook Live this week within the Essential Oil group talking all about that. I'm very passionate about reading ingredient labels. And all of the new doTERRA lines score between a 1 and a 2 on the EWG. I ran every single ingredient on there. Do you do make and take classes or mostly just intros? Those angel cards I put up on the Whole Fit shop. So it's a link to Amazon. You can go and see which deck I purchased. Collagen in general, I recommend Bulletproof Executive, Dave Asprey's brand, okay? Do I speak Portuguese? No. Hi Patty, who else do we have on Facebook Live? What questions does Facebook have over there? Jill, we've got some people to block here. Oils for autism. So I'm not going to be giving any diagnosis or claims. What I would suggest is that you get a resource book like the Essential Life book, or download the Modern Essentials app where you can look at different protocols, okay? When will more products be available in the Canadian warehouse? I saw a question about handouts. I didn't see the beginning of that. Hi, Jen Arbuckle. How do I feel about trim shake or protein powders in general? What sheets do I use for 101 classes? Okay. Is the trim shake okay when pregnant for extra protein? Yeah, I mean, the ingredients in it, there's nothing in there that I would be concerned about. Especially if you're needing more protein, then supplementing with protein is helpful, especially through pregnancy. Okay, you guys, ask your questions, trying to get past some of the noise on Periscope here. I see some questions coming in on Facebook, which I'll come back to. Good ways to find people to teach once you've exhausted. Warm market. Okay, that's it for Periscope. And then I'll hop over to Facebook Live, okay? So I'll kind of go back and forth and just take a question from each. Do I track my contacts? Absolutely. Yeah, if you're in a service-based industry of any kind, you're building relationships with people, you want to keep track of your conversations. All right, Facebook Live is over in the Whole Fit Essential Oil group. So that's a group for my wellness team. If you're here on Periscope, you're getting the exact same information. All right, so let's go in. So oils to avoid using on newborns and babies. So number one, when you're integrating essential oils to young babies, children, and elderly, but I would say this for anybody who's just starting to use oils, you want to dilute, absolutely. Just because essential oils are, especially doTERRA, pure plant, okay, very natural, they're still intense, right? So you want to make sure that you're diluting for kids. So the way to do that is you use a carrier oil like fractionated coconut oil, and you would put only 1 drop of your essential oil in about a teaspoon. So you might want to make up your own roller bottle or a little pump bottle or something if it's an oil like lavender that you're using heavily with your kids, because lavender is going to be the most popular oil you use with your kids. Very soothing for all things skin, very calming, very relaxing, okay? For sleep as well. So some oils that you'll want to not be using on young, like on babies or on elderly skin are hot oils, okay? So hot oils would be like clove or oregano, even On Guard, right? Could be too intense on baby skin. So the best thing to do if you're going to be using something like that to promote, let's say, a stronger immune system would be diluted on the bottoms of their feet, okay? Now, little lungs, so baby lungs, sometimes an oil like peppermint will be too stimulating for them, okay? Kayla, for teething, I would recommend lavender. I've even heard white fir is really good. So again, clove in the mouth of a baby, yes, it's numbing, but that might not feel the best, okay? And I'd encourage you before you ever do anything on your baby to try it on yourself first. What some moms will do is they will take a little bit of clove diluted with coconut oil on a Q-tip, okay? So they can really focus on where they want to put it. But I would not do this in a baby who, you know, as your first go-to oil, especially not under 6 months old. Lavender along the jawline is brilliant, okay? So what did I want to say there? Instead of using something like peppermint to open up or support the respiratory system, I would use cardamom. How many of you have tried cardamom? It's really, it's very supportive, helps open up the airways, but it's not quite as stimulating as peppermint. Keely mentioned frankincense, lavender, and white fir. So Keely's another mom. She uses those with her kids when they're teething. It's brilliant. Along the jawline, right? Because again, the oils can work their way in pretty quickly, topically. You don't need to go right into the mouth. All right? But other than that, I mean, the number one thing is as you're integrating oils, the important thing to realize is through you making a decision to use essential oils in your home, it means that you're making the decision to eliminate other things in your home, right? So if you're diffusing oils, it likely means you have gotten rid of the toxic air fresheners and fragrance out of your home. So good job, right? That's awesome. But you want to integrate them wisely and start small, you know? And when you're using a brand like doTERRA, you do not need to be putting 20 drops of essential oil in a diffuser like store-bought essential oil companies will recommend. You only need to add 3 to 4 drops, okay? So just start slowly as you integrate them. The important thing to note is that you're doing a great job for your family by eliminating a lot of the toxic chemicals in your home. This is why we start to use essential oils, right? So they're not to be feared, but you want to use wisdom. There are some great books out there. Again, I recommend every home has the Essential Life book for knowing what oils to use for what. For mothers, Stephanie Fritz's book, The Essential Midwife, is a great book, all right? So I did mention that the new spa products, somebody asked about the ingredients, the ratings on them. With the exception of essential oils, I took those out as I was entering every ingredient into the Environmental Working Group database because they don't have data on essential oils. So I punched in every single ingredient in the new products, and I was thrilled to see that every new product doTERRA just launched comes between a 1 and a 2, okay? The body wash, the body lotion, the body butter, the face mask, all these things right now that we're buying at the store, Whole Foods or the drugstore. All right, we can get some of these spammers off here. All these things we're buying right now, we now have a very healthy option through our own personal doTERRA store. So that's super awesome. So the new kind of troll on Facebook is the one looking for followers, eh? Okay, thanks for coming out, you guys. All right, so make and take classes or just intro classes. So personally, if you are educating others, if you are educating other people on essential oils, the best kind of class to teach is the one that they're going to leave feeling confident and the one that they don't feel overwhelmed in, right? So getting really good at teaching the intros class, focusing on just the top 10 oils, that should be your goal for at least the first 6 months. When you start to layer in make and takes, then it starts to become a little more complicated for you, right? You're starting to look at all these different recipes you can teach people how to make. You're making up probably your own TerraPad sheets. The flow of your class is different, so it's harder for you to get into momentum. Now, I do love make and take classes for serving your community, right? So when people enroll with you and they join your essential oil community, that's the nice thing about the business that I lead, is that when people buy oils from myself or someone on my team, you get that person with your oils, right? It's how many of us here know each other. Whether you use essential oils on my team or someone else's, or you've been part of my Whole Fit community, part of my coaching programs for years, the reason that we're here even today is because at some point we realized we're the same kind of people, right? So this is what's so cool about your classes. You're teaching people, you're investing in them. This is how the doTERRA business really runs, is you bring people together and you share your experiences. Layering in make and takes is great for building value with your community, for helping them learn how to use their oils once they come in. I would not be doing more than one a month. If you're teaching every week an essential oils intro class, then I would do a make and take at the end of that month. That's it. Because again, more people need to learn how to use the oils, why it's important to show, why it's important, to use a quality brand like doTERRA, where oils come from, and safety, okay? So those things you want to be covering off in every 101 class. Canadian warehouse, when will more be available? So more will be available as Health Canada approves it. It's just a process that any company has to go through. So we'll continue to see things coming into the Canadian warehouse. For those of you not sure what we're talking about here, as a Canadian purchasing doTERRA, you can either purchase from the Canadian warehouse, which has limited products and oils, but still a lot of the stuff that we use in our homes every day. You're going to pay Canadian prices, but you're going to pay Canadian taxes, okay? If you purchase from the US, you're not going to pay Canadian taxes, and you're not going to pay customs or duties, but you are going to pay the exchange rate. It actually works out to almost the same. So I personally purchase all of my oils from the US. A couple of other girls are, hey Em, a couple other people are saying they do as well. Because I purchased a lot of the things that aren't available in the Canadian warehouse, and I like to get access to everything, okay? Thoughts on trim shake or protein powders in general? So the thing with protein powders, they're convenient, right? It's a convenient thing. A lot of people, if they're using them, sometimes people will use a meal replacement shake. That's what the trim shake more is. It's not a high protein powder, okay? You know, they're convenient. They're not ever going to replace good whole food choices. When I do the cleanse, for example, we don't use protein powders during cleanse week. I teach you how to use things like hemp seeds, right? Hemp seeds have natural protein in them, so adding a couple tablespoons of those to your smoothie would be a much better option. But yeah, I mean, find a clean brand. Trim shake is okay. I have it in our home too. Sometimes I'll mix it up for the girls. But usually if I'm making a shake, I just want straight up protein, because I'm often adding my own fruits and veggies to it. So I don't want something that has carbs in it. So in that case, I'm often looking for something like a collagen powder or a good vegan protein powder. I don't really use them, to be honest. I don't have a good brand off the top of my head right now that I'd recommend. I used to use Sun Warrior for years. That was a good plant-based one. I just find now I'm blending a lot of whole food smoothies, and that's what I more recommend. Yeah, and there are a lot of fillers in these products. I mean, you have to really look at the ingredients, and the trim shake, I would say, is a good, right? There are protein powders out there that are better, right? But for a lot of people, it's going to meet the needs that they're needing, and having a balanced approach to their nutrition. Sheets for 101 classes. Honestly, you guys, yeah, you're welcome. Honestly, I would just use the class in a box sheets. Here's the most important thing. You know, when it comes to building a business, it's about simplicity, it's about duplication. You want to be able to order your things with ease, and doTERRA has already created the class in a box for you. You can order it right in your back office. When you get it, it gives you everything you need to teach a class, right? So in there is going to be the class TerraPad sheets. I would just use that. Now, I created one for my team as an alternate that a lot of us use and we like, and it's basically just, I created it to guide people through the flow of how we teach a class. So kicking off with what's really expensive. Be more specific there. Nascropolis. You kick off your classes sharing your story, right? Some of you might share this towards the end. Regardless, your story is the most important thing as a teacher. Letting people know what kind of journey you've been on, what led you to essential oils, why you care about this, and what you most want for the people that you help. You kick off your classes with that. And so I created a TerraPad sheet that kind of starts off with that. And then the next part is asking everybody to write down their 3 top health concerns, getting them thinking about what brought them to this class, right? Then teaching about what oils are, why doTERRA, so we go into CPTG and co-impact sourcing. And then the backside is we just focus on the top 10 oils, okay? So I have pictures on this tear pad of the 10 oil bottles that come in the beginning starter kits with a space for the class to take notes. We pass those bottles around, people take notes. Sometimes if I am doing a large class or event, I will show a PowerPoint. So again, that's something that I just pulled together. Honestly, it's not available for purchase because it's just so basic. So you could make something like that as well, where it's just something to keep yourself on track. But honestly, just use Class in a Box. It's the best. The more that becomes available to us from doTERRA corporate, the easier it will be to cascade that down to our team. There's a lot of systems in doTERRA, right? Some of you use Share Success, some of you use Edge, some of you use Live Naturally. There's all these systems, but at the end of the day, what's going to work is what your team can duplicate well, right? Yeah, you can use Canva or PicMonkey to create something. Class in a Box, yeah, it's great value. You not only get your teaching sheets, but you also get 10 5 ml wild orange bottles. It's amazing value, right? So I would just recommend that you order a Class in a Box for every class you intend to teach in a month, because it's all there for you. Okay, someone said they feel they've exhausted their warm market. What are good ways to find new people? So my thoughts on this are whether you have invested into growing a community before doTERRA or during doTERRA, at some point you're going to have to do it. So when anybody starts sharing essential oils, they're going to be working with the people that they have the most trust and likability built with. Sometimes that's just friends and family, and you start to kind of work out from there. But at some point you realize that your message is attracting a certain kind of person, and that is the person that you need to continue to serve and create value for and pour into. So when you feel you've hit an exhaustion point, it's time to get out there and either start giving more. So whether you're doing Facebook Lives or blogging or writing ebooks or going to networking events where you're meeting new people, or maybe you're speaking, at some point you're going to have to do things that start to put you on the radar of more people if you want to expand your business. You always have to come from a position of service and giving. Okay, so I did this a lot for years before I started doTERRA. I did this initially as I was building my whole fit community. I would blog quite a bit. I was giving a lot of recipes. I did a 30-day free challenge. I did videos every day for free, just giving content, which at some point started to lead into paid programs that I had. The detox I run, Eat Clean, Get Lean, whatever programs I was offering, people were excited to join those with me because they knew the kind of value I provide because of the free stuff that I do and what I poured into them, right? So then when I started doTERRA, I had this group of people that were excited and ready to start this with me because they knew the kind of person that I am. They know that I research things heavily, that I don't talk about things until I live it. So because of that, they knew that when it came to essential oils, I had done a lot of that work. And they could trust my approach, they trusted my opinion and my guidance, and I'm very grateful for that trust because it took years to build it. So the bottom line is this: if you haven't done that before, if building a doTERRA business is brand new for you, maybe you've been working for a corporation for years and this is the first time you're in business, you have to decide what kind of value you're prepared to invest into people, okay? And it always comes at the cost of time. You're gonna have to put some time into it. So that's what I have to say about that. When you feel like you've exhausted, it's time to, it's time to make new friends. I don't know what that is. My Plenity. Anyway, it's time to get out and make new friends. Go to networking events once a quarter. Go to events where you can practice telling people what you do, who you help, and how. All right, so that was through our Periscope questions. Let me just address some of the questions coming through on Facebook Live. Devin asked, if I don't order for a month, do I lose any points I've collected from previous purchases? Yes, you do, but there's no reason to not order every month, because if you can just order a lip balm if you want to keep your points intact, you still get 100% of your shipping back. And Devin specifically is asking about doTERRA's Loyalty Rewards program. Okay, it's the best program out there because you're ordering the stuff you're using, your oils, your toothpaste, your supplements, your face care, all that stuff, right? You're ordering it. It's saving you because you're not having to go out to the store and buy this stuff. It just comes to your porch in a pretty purple box, okay? I guess it could get a little prettier. It's brown and purple. And it has the stuff you really want, but not only that, and you've purchased it from your own store at your 25% off discount, but you also are earning free product off of your purchase. So now it's like you're getting rewarded for living healthy. Super cool. Guess what? The government's not going to do this for you. For years, I would get kind of annoyed that as a healthy person, I haven't been to the doctor in like forever town, and my kids don't either. So I'm not a drain on society in that way, right? But I don't get any kickbacks. I don't get any rewards. In fact, I pay more in taxes every year than the average person earns in 3 years. It makes me a little bit sick, but this is why I love doTERRA, because they actually give back to me for living healthy. I have right now in my account $1,800 worth of free oils that I earned in about a year. Okay, so it's a great rewards program. I hate when I see people ordering randomly like $300 here and $300 there. If you just did it every month and budgeted it properly, so you're not trying to order every single oil in 1 month, you're going to earn a lot of free stuff because of it. Right. Listen to this lovely. I love when classical music comes on my Spotify. If only the government took note. Yeah, the government's not going to take note. I can assure you of that. The free person is the person who realizes that no one else is going to do it for them. When people are on the fence doing the business, what resources do you give them? I don't give people on the fence anything. If people are on the fence about doing doTERRA as a business, they're not my people. I'm not here to convince people. I'm here to live free. I'm here to live in such a way that people genuinely want it for themselves. I will never convince anybody to do this business because it's so good. If people are on the fence about doing this business, they were actually never going to do well. They are the kind of person that needs to be in the corporate system. So please don't ever think you have to convince somebody to do doTERRA as a business. You will not find that here. You will not find us ever asking people, or saying, I really want you to do this with me. No. People will come to you because this business is so good. So I could talk about this topic forever. I believe in it so much because when you are around somebody who is doing, this is a business, let's say. So we have a lot of leaders on this Periscope right now and a lot in Facebook Live. Many high-level leaders, okay? So I wanted to share something with you. I'm a presidential diamond in doTERRA. So I make enough in 1 year that we could probably live for the next 10 years, okay? Off of. However, my vision is so much bigger. What I do is so much bigger than essential oils. What I really do is I hold space. I'm a very visible example to people that realize the kind of life they want to live, they're not going to get through any kind of corporate government blah, blah, blah system. So I'm not here to help the people that believe that, right? I'm here for the people that they think bigger. They see my example and many others like myself, and they want what we've illustrated can happen, okay? So I want you to channel that into your energy a little bit. You should never feel like you are trying to convince somebody to do this business. If you are, it's time for you to start living, showing people more of what this kind of business, this kind of opportunity really gives you. It's bigger than oils, you guys. It's so much bigger. I want you to think about what these oils represent for you in your life, what kind of freedom. I am not Hillary or Trump. If I was in the US, I'd be voting third party. I think they're both nuts. You have to do it in the beginning though, right? Well, yes and no. I think when you're first building your business, you go to your key people. You go to your people who you love, you would love to build this kind of a business with, and you tell them that. And if they're not for it, then you move on. Because look, at a lot of my really close friends, they're not in my doTERRA business, but I also didn't approach them because they weren't the kind of, like, I didn't want to build a business with them, right? So I have a lot, like most of my closest people only just started using oils now. I mean, just because you share similarities with people in your circle doesn't mean that they are going to believe the same things you believe about healthcare. And so I don't know. Again, don't feel like you need to chase people. Offer it to people, but move on, because you have something actually so good here. Do you guys realize that it's like in doTERRA, it's very different than a lot of other network marketing companies? You know that, right? You know that the scales are flipped here. So in doTERRA, like 90% of almost 4 million people just use the oils. So like 10% are doing the business. That is completely opposite to other network marketing companies. So I think it's pretty cool. So I never feel like I'm actually like trying to get people to do the business. No. I just want people to fall in love with their oils and fall in love with the feeling of being their own health advocate. That's what I want for people. If somebody wants to start building this business, absolutely great. And if I've brought them into this journey with me, I am there for them. I will mentor them. But guess what needs to be happening? They have to show me that they're thinking big, that they're in action. Okay, so action gives you the confidence to continue walking out your bigger vision. Yeah, you don't need people to do the business with you. The right people are going to ask to do it with you. I love that. That's true. Absolutely. You don't want the people you have to convince. There are probably people on this Periscope right now who think I'm crazy. There are probably people in here, we get a lot of hits on these scopes. I had one 2 weeks ago, had almost 10,000 views. I can guarantee you at least 30% of those people think I'm a quack. They don't believe what I believe, okay? I don't care though. Great, if I'm on their radar, awesome. For some reason they landed on that Periscope, but I know that there are people that I'm not here to help. I'm not here to help everybody, and I want you guys to think about that for yourselves. Who are you really here to help? Who are you here to help because of what you've gone through in your life? That person that you're meant to help is about to go through what you've gone through, right? So that's what you want to start getting really clear on. Preach it. Okay. Awesome. Good comments, you guys. Okay, Jennifer asked what to do when people interested in the oils want to tag onto your LRP to save money. No, here's the thing. I think when people want to do that, they want to kind of get their foot wet. They're not sure if oils are for them or if natural living is for them. They want it to be, but they're not sure. They're not quite sure. So sometimes for people for their first time, we're not supposed to do it, but I will only for the first time, I will let them tack an oil or two onto my personal order. But here's the thing. What I want most for people, again, is control over that. I want them to feel as though they are walking out their lifestyle. I don't want them to need me. I don't want them to have to message me every time they want oils. I want them to be hooked up. So we don't want to get into this habit of doing that for people. That's not really serving them. So I would use language like, you know what, I'm totally willing to do this for the first time because I know you're going to love the oils, but I want to serve you in a bigger way. I really want to help you have the access you need to live this kind of a life. Okay? So I don't know, think about whether what you're offering to do for people is actually empowering them or causing them to need you. Morgan, what's the most important thing I should make sure I have in my diet as a new vegan? So protein is going to be the hardest thing to come by, right? So you'll want to use something like MyFitnessPal. It's a free tracker to be able to track your macronutrients. Carbs are going to be the easiest thing to get in your diet. So again, carbs break down into sugar in the body at the end of the day. So you want to make sure that you're just having a ton of carbs. You want to make sure you're not just having a ton of carbs all day. You want to have some fats with every carb to help slow it down, and protein for building healthy muscle, right? So, hemp seeds, again, I came back to. Tempeh is a great form of protein. You're going to be having probably a lot more, you're going to be having a lot more beans, legumes, things like that. So you might want to get into soaking your own and cooking your own. And like anything, see how you feel. Some people will experience weight loss and they go vegan, and then a couple months down the road, they're not feeling so great. So sometimes it's really about trying different things and seeing how your body does on them. Get a blood test done as well, so you have a baseline. Go get a blood test done, and then get another test done in 3 months, and see if any of your essentials are off. For a lot of people, B12 is hard to get if they're not having meat animal products. So supplementation is key. And again, everybody's different. Some people thrive on that kind of a diet. One of my people, Rich Roll, I love him. He's a pro athlete, vegan, right? A lot of you know him, but there are other pro athletes that couldn't function on a vegan diet. So really, it's about what your body feels best on. Yeah, definitely. You need to be diligent as a vegan with macros and micros. That's good. It's just a little more challenging in the beginning for people to go vegan. It takes more planning, right? It's not impossible. Yeah, Angie, good advice. She said vegans should consider cutting out the processed stuff. You'll see a lot of processed vegan foods, meat replacements, things like that. That's not good. Careful with your words. Someone said vegan is dangerous. That's not true. So again, what works for one person works brilliant for another person and doesn't work at all for the next person. Okay? So this is about trying different things with your body, becoming a student of your body. That's the goal. There is not one type of eating plan that is best for every person. Whole foods is best, right? Eating what we're given, not out of a package. Jill, can you block some of these people here? So again, it's about knowing what's best for your body, but get some baseline testing done so you get to know your body. All right, so Christine asked, I noticed the Deep Blue Rub has dimethicone and PEG. Any thoughts on these? I've heard to avoid them. The Deep Blue Rub is like a stage 2 product for somebody. Again, if I will use it once a month maybe when I get like the low back pain that time of the month because it's super convenient. If I wanted to go like level 1, super clean, I would just make my own balm with coconut oil and Deep Blue added to it. It's a convenience product. But what I do encourage people to do, and keep in mind, I want you guys to remember, where like 95% of the population that is starting to be concerned about health, where they're at right now, a product like that, like what she mentioned with Deep Blue, is going to be a great next step away from where they're currently at. So it's a bridge the gap kind of product. Again, with doTERRA, there are some products that are just convenient that way. They are certainly not near the ratings that store-bought products are going to be. But if you want to go super clean, then just grab your coconut oil and your Deep Blue, right? It's all of these ingredients are in there for a reason. One thing I've known through constant questioning with doTERRA is that, sorry, Angie, post that question one more time after I'm done. What I've noticed with doTERRA, because I've challenged them on a lot of things over the last couple of years as I've been researching products, and I would message product support at doTERRA.com constantly when I had a question about why they use something. They will not use something unless it's necessary. They always weigh all of the research on something before they include an ingredient in a product. But they have family health as number one goal, okay? So they're not ever going to introduce a product with a certain ingredient that has actually been found through research to be harmful. So a great starting point is the EWG, looking at ingredients, but also it's knowing, what research actually does exist, right? So for example, carrageenan. A lot of us have heard a lot about carrageenan before, but the research is based off of, so there was a study done with rats where they injected carrageenan into the bloodstream. So carrageenan is a thickening agent, right? It's a fiber that doesn't get absorbed into the bloodstream. However, in the research that was done, they used polygeenan, okay, which is a different chain. doTERRA only uses the long chain carrageenan from seaweed, okay? It's a thickening agent. So when you start to look at the studies, you look at the research, and you look at all the fear and the hype, you realize it was actually a different chain. But question companies, absolutely. If you have a question about an ingredient in something, email the company. you'll start to understand what kind of company you're dealing with, right? Some companies won't get back to you. Some just say, you know, well, we're not concerned about it. Well, you know, you want to know that they've looked at the research or you understand why, okay? A lot of conversation happening about vegan diets over on Periscope. It says, Angie, you eat so clean and well. Do you still feel the need to take LLV and see a difference? Yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you this, every high level successful person in any, you know, when you see somebody who's really successful in business, they're often successful in a lot of areas of their life. They're taking good care of their body. They always supplement. We cannot get through, get to feeling higher level in our body without supplementation, because our diets are just, even if you're eating super clean and growing your own food, it's not going to have all of the nutrients that your body needs. So yes, absolutely. So what I take every day, I take Lifelong Vitality twice a day. I take Terrazyme 1 to 2 times a day. I take PB Assist, the probiotic, and I take DDR Prime because cancer runs in my family. Mito 2 Max is a great energy boosting product. I don't need it, so I don't take it, but it is great. Cool. Lauren's having a spa class next month. That's awesome. Yeah. Yes, you pay shipping, Devin, when you order through the US warehouse. Yeah, if you guys have questions about the oils or supplements or want to get started, my email is heywholefit@gmail.com. I take the DDR Prime capsules, but I put the oil on my dry skin brush, right on the brush, and then I brush my skin before the shower. So I talk about dry skin brushing a lot. You'll be doing it through the cleanse, and it's on my YouTube channel if you want to look up Whole Fit dry skin brushing. How does the oil taste? It tastes awful. I would not be taking the oil as it is. That's why it's in capsules. It has neroli and clove, and it's intense. It's a hot oil, okay? So, no, I'm not Russian. Yeah, DDR Prime on my dry skin brush. I love it. Mito 2 Max has replaced Cheryl's afternoon coffee. Awesome. All right, cool. Yeah, let me just see what we've got coming up on Facebook here. What time are we at? We'll do about 5 more minutes, you guys. Kathy says she has great interest in her classes, but upon closing and enrolling, it feels like everything falls apart. Okay, love that question. Hi, Lisa. Thanks for hopping on, girl. And Kathy also asked, how can I close better? So here's what I would encourage you to do. If you feel like it gets weird when you're closing a class, it's because it is weird, okay? It's because your energy is off. So what I would encourage you to do this today, because it's, on your mind. After I'm done talking, go to your bathroom and practice. Record yourself with your phone, closing a class, and then play it over and over and over again. And think about how you feel listening to yourself. Try not to judge with, we're the worst critics of ourselves, right? So I want you to pay attention to the words you're using, the energy you have. Are you solid? Are you postured as you're closing a class? Do you close the class confidently? Really, yeah, I'll tell you how I close the class. Do you guys want me to take 2 minutes and close you? So, okay, here's what I would say. So by this point, I have gone through the education. I have shown them how to get started. I've basically shown the kits, and I always start with the highest kit and work down, okay? Because again, number one, I don't want to make any judgments about people in that class. I don't know, just because I can make assumptions about somebody by the way they're dressed or the kind of questions they asked. I really don't know what their, needs are, how deep it runs. Honestly, I didn't go to a class when I enrolled. Someone enrolled me from Utah, right, through a sample. But had I gone to a class, being the kind of person that I was, I would have enrolled with a diamond kit, because my buy-in to natural health is so huge, right? So I would have known, okay, I might not have all the answers right now about the oils, but I believe in what they're gonna do for myself and my family that much, okay? So had somebody not presented the diamond kit to me, let's say, I wouldn't have even known about it. Okay, so start with the higher kits and work down. So here's how I close a class. I would say, you know, of everything we've talked about tonight, I want you to know I honor you all for being here. I am grateful to have had this time with you. The most important thing is that you showed up, because you are somebody who's interested in learning how to really take care of your body and your family. And I applaud you for that. I'm so glad you're here. For those of you that came tonight that are wanting to get started, you came with the intention of beginning your natural health lifestyle, I'm going to help you tonight at the back of the room. We'll take a couple minutes together. I'll help you choose the best kit for you and your family to start with. And one of the things I'd like to do with you tonight is book our welcome call to happen a couple weeks later, because I'd like to get on the phone with you and I'd like to guide you through how to get started with your oils more one-on-one. And I'm also going to send you home with a little welcome package, because I know we all like to go home and start playing after we get this information. So I have this little welcome package of samples for you. And for those of you that do have questions, I'd like to direct you to the different resource books I have here, which are going to help you really expand your knowledge on all the different oils you can use to meet your health concerns. So we're going to close the class now. I'm going to slip out and just get a drink of water, and when I come back, I will help the first person who's ready near the back of the room. That's it. Now, I will often include a quick 30 seconds on LRP. And I often do that when I'm talking about the kits, and I'll say something like, the majority of the over 3 million people in doTERRA that buy the oils every month, they do it through this rewards program called Loyalty Rewards, because then you get to choose what comes to your doorstep, and you're picking only the products you want. You're not on an auto ship. You're in control, and it costs nothing to join, nothing to leave. But the best part is you're actually going to earn free product off your orders. So it's super cool. The points rack up pretty quickly that you can cash in for free products. So I will teach you more about that during our welcome call. Okay, so again, out of class, they have become overwhelmed, right? They've learned a lot of things that maybe they didn't know before about natural health, about essential oils. So you don't want to totally kill them at the end with all these closing options. You want to teach them very clearly how they get started, but you also want to teach them that when they get started, they get you with it. They join your community. That's the most important thing. This is what's missing for a lot of people when they want to transition into a natural lifestyle. They go to Whole Foods, they want to buy a bottle of lavender, they get it home, they have no idea what to do with it. The community, you sound more like a business person than a person who cares about their health. Do I? So what you want to do is you want to illustrate to them what they're really joining with you. They're joining that journey, okay? So any questions about that? Okay, I think that was a spammer. But to be honest, I am a business person. You're all business people. All of you are. Whether you are in business for yourself or not, you are a walking brand constantly for what you believe. That's okay. I kind of knew he was a troll, but I find that the comments are quite eloquent from the trolls today. Right now I've got coffee, coconut oil, shaga tea, all blended in here. Awesome. All right. Yeah, you can watch this Q&A later. It's recorded on Periscope, or it'll stay in the Facebook Live under the videos. Aw, thanks, Jen. All right. Any last questions? I'll take one more before we hop off. What's in my welcome sample pack? Okay, so what I like to send to people when they enroll with me is a little intro guide. I don't know if I have any down here. A little usage guide, right? Like an intro to oils guide. So I send them that because I want to start expanding their knowledge right away. When their oils come in, they might not have invested in a resource manual yet, so that's going to get them starting. So I include that, and then I give them samples. So I give them On Guard toothpaste sample, a Deep Blue Rub sample, an On Guard and a Breathe throat lozenge, and I will often include either the doTERRA lip balm or a 5 ml wild orange from Class in a Box. And I just package that all up. I send it through postage stamp mail. Okay, so as long as it's, I think, less than an inch thick, You pop a stamp on it. So all of that, postage and everything included, probably cost me about $7. What I do, so essentially what I'm doing is I'm giving back to that person to help them really start their journey, right? Yeah, Andrea, I only give those to people who have enrolled, because then once their kit of oils comes in, they have a little usage guide and they have some samples that didn't come in their kit. So they start to think of like all the things that doTERRA would have. I've done that since day one. There's so many questions coming in last minute. Sorry, Jill, let me just check your text. My girl is, Jill is texting me with some of the key questions. Lots of questions, you guys. If you want to save them for next week, these are really good. We've gone almost an hour today, so I've got to hop off soon. Yeah, so somebody had asked a question, do you find if someone enrolls with a large kit, they don't go on LRP? I find that the people who enroll with a larger kit are the ones who know they're going to start sharing the oils with other people. So typically my business builders that enroll, they're going to go with a larger kit. But I would way rather have somebody start with a lower kit and go on LRP, because then I know they're really going to walk out a lifestyle. They're not just getting a kit that's going to sit in their kitchen and not get used. There's a lot of crazies on Periscope right now. Whew. Okay. Awesome, you guys. Stephanie Musco, Eat Clean, Get Lean is an older program. So I am revamping the content, updating it, and launching a brand new program in January, which is going to be a 30-day focus on whole health, life force, taking ownership, peak state kind of stuff. Personal development, workouts, supplements, all that stuff. So it's coming in January. For those of you that weren't on in the beginning, I talked about my cleanse. It's running next week. So if you look up Whole Fit Detox, you'll find it there, all the information to get registered. Once you're in, you're in. You join the community, and we run a couple times a year. Thank you guys for joining live. This was fun. And I will see you next week. Join me back next week at 12 o'clock Eastern. Bring your questions, and we'll get to some of those that were asked near the end. Bye, you guys. Have a beautiful day.